Welcome to the 4 to 5 podcast. Uh, the state of Penn State is dead. Nobody, we got stomped. Robby, Mo, how are you guys doing?
That was just disgusting. I
It's
mean,
demoralizing.
literally the way I was like, we cannot lose this game this way is how we lost, and we didn't just lose; we got embarrassed.
Embarrassed. Well, I was actually pretty fortunate to not be able to watch this game. I was out in the fields of West Virginia and had to listen to it on the radio. But it's kind of a blessing in disguise. I didn't have to watch us get embarrassed. I actually felt bad for you, Mo, that you made the trip out to Ann Arbor and just had to sit through that shit show. So
Tailgate was great. We were
Yeah.
grilling. There was like by the time it was all said and done, there was just like probably 40 some randos just there. We were playing drinking games. Vibes were high. I was talking all the shit in the world.
Oh.
Sorry to anyone who listens who was expecting content, because as soon as I walked out of the stadium, I deleted all of it. I'm not going to subject myself to any of that embarrassment.
We don't blame you.
Yeah. Fuck.
I was on a plane, and the plane lands, and I fall asleep on planes really easy, so I wake up. I'm like, oh, let me check my phone, like turn my phone on, and they had just the second I turned my phone on, like my dad texted me, and they had just had the pick six. So I was like, holy shit, like nice, we're in it, I guess. And I looked at the stats, I was like, we are not in this game at all.
Not
and
at all.
then then it went to half. We were down 2, and I got home and I watched us let up like 20 unanswered points, and I wanted to cry.
At
Yeah.
halftime, the scoreboard made it look like we were still in it, but without two big plays, I think, we would have scored 3 points, and we just weren't in it at all when you look at the stat sheet. Without Sean's run and without the pick six, we're kind of just out there hanging to dry.
I know we have these offensive coordinators every year, and we bring in a new offensive coordinator every year, and then it's always like, the offense is stalling. I don't think Franklin has to be calling these plays, right? There's just no way that every single year we get a new offensive coordinator, and then the same thing
Ends
happens
up being the same
every
thing.
single year.
Yeah. So I was doing some reading, listening to some other people talk, and apparently Yurcich came out and like slipped up in a press conference and said it's time to take the training wheels off. I don't know necessarily what that means, but I do know that Drew is Yurcich's guy. And Sean Clifford, 6th-year senior, what training wheels are we taking off? But the offense as a whole, I mean, say what you want to say about the offense, but if you watch that game, the offense was kind of what it's been all year. We had around the same yards per play. Like, Cliff was a little inaccurate, but a lot of those were tight ass windows that he had to throw to, because our wide receivers, we fucking hype them up. They suck. None of them create separation. They don't create any fucking separation. They blow. I don't care who's at quarterback. I don't care if it was Tom fucking Brady out there. He wasn't hitting some of those throws because no one was open. Like, there was so many times we were in good pass pro. Cliff like steps up in the pocket. He's looking around. Nobody's open. Like, it's just frustrating. And what the crazy part is, 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, we're in that game. We're down a score, sure. We're driving. That OPI, that sucks. I thought, that sucks, but like that's life. There's going to be penalties. But I thought the offense really wasn't bad. They moved the ball. They had 2 3-and-outs their first 2 drives. Other than that, they moved the ball a little bit. They just weren't very creative, and they weren't very opportunistic either. Which, I mean, that comes down to scheme. I mean, look, if you go back, and I'm just going here because, I mean, Michigan's corners for most of the game were 8 to 10 yards off the ball. We didn't run our first hitch route until the fourth quarter. What is that? They're off the ball. I'll take 5 all day. We ran it was like there's like 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Little hitch to Tinsley, he gets 11. Boom.
Now I know Mo that I know that's probably should have been called in the huddle beforehand. Should be a play call. Should be something that we're seeing as an offensive unit. Being able to make that adjustment on the fly. But is that something that can be faulted? Can be put on Sean Clifford's shoulder for not making that read pre-snap? Like I feel like that's something that a six-year quarterback should be able to make. Seeing that they are 8 yards off the ball and seeing that opportunity and be like, hey, let's take advantage of this. Let's run a slant. Let's run a little hitch. And do that sort of thing. But I mean, is that on Sean or is that more on your side, do you think?
I think that has to be on the OC. I mean, you're there to call plays. Like Clifford's there to make the reads. Sure, like he can diagnose at the line, whatever. But I mean, it should have been like, hey, like literally line up like it's 4 verts and everyone run a hitch route until they press us.
Right.
I agree that that does come down to the OC, but I mean, you said take the training wheels off. Do you think that they even give Sean the option to change the play at the line? Because we
saw it in the Auburn game. He was calling out blitzes. He was calling audibles.
It just seems like when this team falls behind, they completely they ran. I know that they were stopping the run, but like you ran the ball 6 times with Singleton, you ran the ball 6 times with Allen, once with Kevon. You're gonna run the ball 13 times and then be like the run game wasn't working. At least try to run the ball more than I know. We barely had the ball at all, but like you can't and if we don't also what you said with the hitch routes, try to get 5. It's either a shot play or nothing with this offense.
We didn't even have any shot plays.
We had one Harrison Wallace that catch on the sideline. That was it.
That was a great throw. Actually.
Good ball.
That
was that was probably the only shot play that we had. And Sean's run, but that's not a shot play. That just happened to be a really good fake, and he went for 50 plus.
They got tackled before
got caught. Yeah.
Sean actually, if you look at that play, look at in the backfield. He makes a guy miss. He breaks some ankles.
I forget who missed who missed the block there, but he had a nice move in the backfield to break that.
Yeah. I mean, my overall take is I didn't think the offense was that bad. I really didn't.
I think this one is very much on our defense and just not giving our offense the opportunities in which they needed to beat this Michigan team. And it felt like our defense, I mean, just from listening to it, it felt like they were playing almost conservative from the start. Like they didn't want to get, I know the whole game plan was to stop Michigan's run. And just on the first drive, they went bang 8 yards, bang 9 yards, bang right down the field. Like it felt like we just were not prepared at all. And we're coming off a bye week. It's just like, what were we doing the last 2 weeks?
Oh, no.
It's incredible that this man is 3-7 off of a bye week in his tenure here. And we just gave him all of this money. Like, what are you doing over the bye week? Are you recruiting? Like, are you not even preparing for Michigan? Like, oh my gosh. 2 weeks.
A James Franklin team not being prepared in a big game. Who would have saw that coming?
Who would have thought?
Me. I love that guy. I love James Franklin. He's a great head coach. Oh my Lord.
He's not going anywhere. I mean, we can shit talk him all we want, but Penn State is not shelling out $75 million. They won't do it.
This won't happen. I also don't really want them to do that.
I said this when we extended him. You're dooming. They doomed obviously we can't get rid of them. They doomed the program for mediocrity. They will never make the playoff unless it gets expanded. We sneak in as the last seed. It is getting expanded. But when it gets expanded, we'll be like the last seed. We'll get stomped. We're just doomed we're forever with this guy, with getting blown out on a national stage in a top 10 game. We're doomed.
It takes me back to his quote. I think it was like 4 years ago when he said, "We're a good football program. We just need that little bit extra to get to a great football program." And it's 4 years later.
Good, we're not elite. That's what he said.
We're not.
He said we're great. We're a great football program, but we're not elite.
We're not elite. Yeah. And
Yeah,
here we
that
are.
was
4 years
actually
later.
4 years ago. That was actually
Yeah.
4 years ago this week.
And we're still gonna go 9-3, 10-2.
Reporter asked him about it after the game.
He said he'd be willing to get into that into the off season, which I get it. Like, because all he's gonna do is go into the semantics of, oh, I need better dorms, I need better facilities, I need to compete. No, you need to compete on fucking Saturdays, James. That's where you need to compete. You need to show the fuck up in the big house when it's a 10 versus fucking 5 matchup. That's embarrassing.
It's so bad. He's 0-10 against top 10 teams since 2016. That's unbelievable. You think he's at least fucking a 1 win?
Speaking of 2016, you know what that 2016 team did in Michigan?
Got blown out by 14-10.
Yep. That was a bad one.
And then they played Minnesota the next week, and that's when Saquon in overtime scored like a 40-yard rushing touchdown.
Oh, boy.
Found a way to win. He actually tweeted about that today, that Mike Gesicki texted him that it happened in 2016, and then we played Minnesota the next week and found a way to win. And some pretty good things happened after that. Sure.
And you know what happened after that. Yep.
It's not happening.
We caught fucking lightning in a bottle, dude. Beating Ohio State in 2016 doesn't mean shit.
If we all right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We got Minnesota this week. But we're gonna get destroyed by Ohio State. It's not even gonna be funny. I'm gonna be out of the building by halftime, probably. It's gonna be so bad.
At least it's a noon game, and we have all that time afterwards to just kind of forget about it.
Oh my lord!
So, do you want to know something really funny? I'd like just bringing up that Ohio State 2016. Can you tell me how many passes Trace McSorley completed in that game?
In the Ohio State game?
Yes.
It's got to be like 6 or something.
Yeah, it cannot have been a lot.
8 for 23 for 154 yards. Dude, what was
Saquon's stat line?
Saquon was 12 for 99. And Trace ran the ball 19 times for 63 yards. But JT Barrett
was 23 in a game, we're fucked.
JT Barrett was 28 for 40 for 250.
Yeah, that's what they would do, those guys. Barrett and Haskins, they would just throw like dink and dunk.
Oh my gosh.
Constantly. It was
awful. Wide receiver screenplays. Oh
my God. Curtis Samuel went off, dude. He had 2 carries for 71 and a tud, 8 for 68. Damn.
He had 2 carries for 71 yards, and his long was 74, so it is a 74-yard rushing touchdown.
Yeah,
and then
he had that super long rushing touchdown before the block. Yeah, I mean, we had no business being in that game, but let's not even talk about that. Let's talk about this defense, all right? So everyone likes to say, QB. Let's talk about fucking linebacker for a second.
That's so bad. They can't tackle
Number 11. They can't tackle anybody. Number 11 needs to be on the field. The fact that he and Curtis Samuel are both Will. What the fuck? They're our best. They're our best two defense. Curtis Jacobs. Sorry.
Curtis Samuel on the break.
Yeah, we were. I'm having nightmares, but I mean, Curtis Jacobs. I mean, other than the pick 6, which was blind luck, was awful.
Yeah,
awful. I mean,
I feel like everybody was just out of position the entire game. I mean, going back and watching, I watched a little bit of the film. It's just it feels like they just were. Michigan was simply just taking what we gave them, and it wasn't even hard for them. They didn't have to open up their playbook at all. They were just running,
the ball.
Simple run plays, and all our linebackers were just completely out of position. And then they made themselves even more out of position when, there was a couple times we talked about that video earlier where Curtis Jacobs was going up the field and then he went to the wrong shoulder of the pulling tackle. And I was like, why?
What is he doing on that
play? What are you doing?
Oh my God. This play, I wish I could show this and break this down for everybody. But if you look at Dominic Edwards, like 67-yard touchdown run in the third quarter that put them up 22-17 before the 2-point conversion. Look, just watch. They're lined up to the short side of the field with the tight end on the short side, and all of our personnel is on the strong side. They're obvious. And basically what happens is a guard is pulling, and there's two pulling guards. Well, there's a guard in the center pulling. And Curtis Jacobs attacks on the inside shoulder. Whatever corner, I think it was Johnny Dixon was on that side, got eaten up by the other pulling lineman. And Curtis attacks on the inside shoulder, which allows Edwards to get the edge. His entire job on that play is to set the edge, so Edwards has to cut back inside where everything is pursuing his way, and that's a 2-yard run.
Doesn't even have to make the tackle. Just force him back inside.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have to make a tackle. He just has to force him back inside where you have everyone pursuing. The only person who actually made a decent read on that play, which I'll get into him later because he was terrible, was Elsdon. But, God, he is so bad.
Him and King. Both of them.
Him and King are bad, but I think King's going to be a guy. He's at least fast.
Yeah.
But
King's he played terrible, but he's all right.
I think,
also, Dom DeLuca needs to start over Sutherland at Sam.
Sutherland sucks.
I'm done with Sutherland. I've been done with him for the past 2 years.
He can't tackle. He can't
just
tackle.
Get him out, dude.
He never
he can't tackle
with anybody.
No. One bright spot on our defense that I was going to bring up, going back and watching a couple of the plays, was Chop. I think Chop was probably the best defensive player if I had to pick one. I know it was an overall bad grading for the defense as a whole, but I think Chop had a couple good plays and he did a good job. Whenever there's a tight end lined up on him, I think it's over. Like no tight end in the country is going to block him.
He was eating the tight ends up. Yeah. That was a good thing. And then another thing to go back to Curtis Jacobs. So a play before that touchdown that I was talking about, you have Curtis Jacobs coming off the edge 1-on-1 with a running back. And instead of just he tries to go outside him there instead of just attacking him, which I thought was weird. Because, I just would think that he'd just win that battle 1-on-1. Granted, there was a bit of a hold there, but, I'm not even mad about that. You can't – there's a hold on every play if you really want to look into it. But that was a game changer, too, because if he goes straight through him, that doesn't allow JJ to get out of the pocket and get that first down. And at that point, the game is 17-16, Penn State. We have them in a 3rd and 8 situation, which we hadn't had all day. If we could just get off the field there, like I said, the offense wasn't bad. They moved the ball. We just could not get off the field on defense. Our gap integrity was terrible. Sutherland's jumping over 3 gaps. People, oh my God. Our linebackers' first step was back every single time. And Michigan, especially when there's motion, I saw some stat. Michigan runs the ball 94% of the time when there's motion. And our first step always. How do you not
know that coming out of the bye week too? Why are our linebackers not taking a first step forward? That makes no sense to me. 400 yards rushing after a bye week? Come on. Oh, that's frustrating.
They just ran the ball down our throats. They ran the ball 55 times for 418 yards. And that's what Minnesota's going to do against us. All Minnesota does is run the ball.
Ibrahim is going to have himself a day as well.
He's going to have 35 carries for 200 yards.
Let's slow down there. I don't think Minnesota's offensive line is going to be able to do.
I know.
Minnesota's offensive line is not going to be able to do what Michigan's offensive line did to us. I think I could have been running the ball and ran for 100 yards.
That's
anybody could.
Those holes. Dude, I could have drove my fucking car through it. It was
so bad.
It was bad. You
can't that. It's we were very, very positive going into this game. I feel like every Penn State fan was positive going into this game. You win this game, you put yourself on the map. You're a contender. Maybe then we start thinking about Ohio State. Maybe we could beat Ohio State. Whatever. This just I don't
Just
even
took the
know if
air
they'll
out of the lungs.
like this. It's a classic Franklin team where they get your hopes up the first half of the season, and then like at least the Iowa loss last year, we chalked it up to Clifford being hurt and Roberson being terrible, and
Well,
just
Clifford
whatever.
got hurt this past week too, so we can just
Oh,
excuse that
Clifford's
too.
always hurt when they lose. He'll constantly. Oh, guys, yeah, we lost, but Sean's a little banged up, so we're not gonna send him to the podium. Ugh.
Yeah.
I wish I wish we just went in there and lost by 3 or a touchdown at the end or something like that. I would have been perfectly okay
Yeah,
with
I would have
that.
been fine with
And
that.
sitting here talking
We
about
probably would've dropped like
at least
12.
we put up a fight. But gosh,
It wasn't even a
I
fight.
mean, we could not have put up a more piss poor performance like after a bye week, nonetheless. Sorry, the last time I bring it up.
One person we didn't talk about who I think we need to talk about, our best defensive player, a freshman, Abdul Carter, who almost single-handedly got us back in the game with that strip if we could have fell on it.
Yeah.
Because we were still in the game when that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it
Sure.
before. They need to find a way to have both these guys on the football field. I don't care what you have to do. I know.
Because even if you move Curtis to Sam, our base defense, it's going to be hard to get Curtis on the field more than 50% of the snaps because so many times we end up in like a nickel or where we have a nickel who replaces the Sam. So it's just so hard. One of them needs to play Mike, and that Curtis.
Yeah.
I mean, James said Curtis isn't a Mike. Abdul might be
I was gonna say, can you move Abdul? I feel like he's got the
you can. I mean, not mid-season because then he's calling.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying moving forward, like next year.
Next year he'll 100%. There's no way you can't have him be our Mike.
Yeah.
There's not that big of a difference between Mike and Will. Like if you like the base defense, it's not that big of a difference. Like if you were to move him down to Sam, that's more different. Mike and Will, it's just strong side and weak side. It's not that have your best linebacker be the Mike and play on the strong side of plays. It's not that hard to figure out. And Franklin's making it seem like it's night and day. It's crazy to me.
Well, I mean, also like when Abdul Carter's breakout at Auburn, when people were like, yo, this dude is real. You had 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And one of them was, I mean, you had Central Michigan, Northwestern, and a bye week. You had 3 weeks to figure out a way to get your 2 best linebackers at our weakest position on the field at the same time. And you didn't do it. That's on Manny. That's on James. And for all the hype about Manny Diaz and all the praise we gave him throughout the first half of the season, buddy,
that was embarrassing.
How many times are you going to blitz on 3rd down and not get home?
That's what he does. Just, oh, man. Oh, man.
How about halftime adjustment, too? I mean, we were in it at half, and we just come out and just get punched in the mouth.
No adjustment. We did not. Nothing changed.
What happened? Did they just go in there and they were like, all right, we're in it. Let's go. We'll keep doing what we're doing.
Franklin went in there with his bald head and was like, all right, guys, the stat sheet might not show up, but we're only down 2. We had the lead there at the end. Come on, guys, we can fight. Let's stick to our game plan. Shut up.
We get he's saying we get the ball, we go down, we score. Yeah, we did that. But
and then what?
And then we didn't score the rest of the game.
67-yard. That I mean, I keep going back to that OPI. That OPI. I mean, it was, but and then I mean, Cliff actually made a great play on that. Was 3rd, like what was it? 3rd and 19. Then he was able to scramble for 13, get us to 4th. He got destroyed, but then he got us to 4th and 6. And
terrible play call.
That was it. But Parker's got to catch that ball.
Oh, he's got to catch it. 100%.
Got to catch that ball. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't blame Clifford for any of this loss because that play, he dropped it in a bucket for Parker. Great. Like, it's a tough catch. Like, it's a 50-50 ball, but he put it where only his guy could get it, and his guy didn't come down with it.
I have a question because I know we talked about this a lot on the preview show. And I know, granted, our offense didn't have as many opportunities as we would have hoped. But how many targets did our tight ends have?
2.
2.
1 catch.
Huge. Way to get them involved.
Which the weakness of that Michigan defense was also
Was
linebackers. So, like, we needed to
covering
get
tight ends.
Yeah. I mean, we
Just
said
didn't
it.
happen.
'Cause we said it when we talked about the Iowa game and how the Iowa tight end at Michigan was.
Well, he roasted them.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what this team does on a bye to come out with such a piss poor game plan and for the offense to lack all forms of creativity. Like, I thought we were going to open up the playbook. I thought there was going to be some stuff. Jurgic's just supposed to be this guy. But
it's a Franklin minion, like the mall.
let's talk about some other stuff. Let's start to
that's a good segue into us, how they come out unmotivated off a bye. It's a good segue into how we're going to move into now the Minnesota game, because if we know one thing about Franklin teams, if they're unmotivated coming off the bye, they're unmotivated coming off a loss, and I am very worried about this game.
Yes,
I'm very worried.
I'm very concerned. If you would ask me 2 weeks before this Michigan game and said, like, it'll be close with Michigan, we'll probably win, and then we'll play Minnesota, we'll crush Minnesota. I wouldn't say no. I don't have any confidence in this being a win.
Yeah, I have no confidence, but this needs to be a win. I get it. It's Minnesota. They're reeling. Tanner Morgan's hurt. Their backup quarterback hasn't started a game since high school in 2019.
Yeah.
Was a 4-star though, so like he could be legit. But like it's Minnesota, he can't be that good. But this team needs to make a statement that they listen. Let's accept the reality. We're going 10-2, but this will hopefully going 10-2.
Hopefully, we win this game.
But
we'll go 10-2. If we lose, we might.
This team needs to come out because listen, bad at good teams on the road off a bye. That's Franklin's MO. His MO is also bad off a loss. We need to slay one of those demons this year.
Mm-hmm.
First, we got ahead of ourselves. Preseason, we were all saying 9-3. We're gonna lose at Michigan. We're probably gonna get blown out. Like we got our hopes up. We do this every year, but now we need to take a step back as fans and really evaluate the program. And you're not gonna slay all your giants in 1 year, but if you can come back and put a stomping on Minnesota, I am a firm believer that the program is trending in the right direction. But that also brings me to another thing that I want to bring up. So, obviously, he's come out and said Sean's earned the right to start. I get that, even though I don't think he
was waiting for this conversation.
He may or may not have. But if Sean Clifford, so the way I see it is we have 3 options at quarterback for the rest of the year. Number 1, we ride with Sean because we think we still have a shot at the playoff. Pretty outlandish. Number 2, Sean Clifford is 100% healthy. He starts this game. He starts Ohio State. We lose. Hey, Sean, great career, man, but it's time to go. Like your watch has ended. And then
your watch has ended. That was good.
And then
a Game of Thrones quote in here.
And then option 3, Clifford is not 100% healthy. You start Drew this week. Then Drew starts the rest of the year. He gets 6 games in a bowl game, or he gets 4 games in a bowl game. I do not want to see a hurt Sean Clifford come out. We lose this game to Minnesota, and then Drew's first start is against Ohio State. I think that's setting the kid up to fail. I think it's either going to be it's 100%. It's Drew from here on out, or it's Sean until we get our next loss.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm of the stance where Clifford, it's time to be a grad assistant, buddy. You can coach the team. You shouldn't be the quarterback. This happens. every single time they lose or play a close game and barely win, Sean's hurt. Oh, Sean had a flare up at his knee. Oh, Sean's a little banged up after that big hit. Constantly. Let Drew play, please. We're not going to go anywhere with Clifford. It's obvious. We haven't gone anywhere with him in the last 3 years. Just let Drew play. And I get if Clifford's 100%, play him. He's not 100%. He hasn't been 100% in 2 years. You have to let Drew play this game, but I know for a fact they won't.
They won't. They won't. And listen, I understand the entire I understand the background to it. Like, he has been here for 6 years, and it's something it's hard to do to the kid, but it's something that's necessary. We're not in this to keep everybody's feelings intact. We're in this to win football games, and we're looking to the future. We need to start with our future now. I think it's just I've been saying it all year. He has a ceiling. Sean has a ceiling. Drew does not. We don't know. Well, I mean, I'm sure Drew has a ceiling, but we don't know what his ceiling is. Sean's only going to get us so far. And we're not going to see him after this year anyway. Why waste another 6 to 7 games on something that we're just not going to need to see next year? And we are so sick of seeing for the past 6 years. It just doesn't make much sense to me. And it's fully just so we don't hurt Sean's feelings, and we don't do that to one of our own. And it's kind of frustrating, but I understand it.
It's not kind of frustrating. It's the most frustrating thing in the entire world.
It's very frustrating.
It's so frustrating. Everybody in the world, I wouldn't say world because not everybody watches college football, but everyone that watches
the Penn State football
knows. Everybody knows that Clifford's not the guy, and he's not that good.
He knows it. He's got to know it.
I mean, you already burnt the red shirt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why
might
not
as well get him going.
You burnt the red shirt. I mean, if he needs to start games before, because all right, let's be honest, we're 6-2, and we've got what? Indiana, Maryland, Rutgers, Michigan State. I don't care who the quarterback is. I expect to go 4-0 against those teams.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't care if it's Drew. I don't care if it's Sean. We got to go 4-0.
We should go 4-0 with either quarterback.
We should go 4-0 with either quarterback. But if we're already out of playoff contention at that point, which is another thing that kind of sucks. It really does suck that we lose one game and we're sitting here saying, well, fuck it. Like, we got to go for the future now. Like, that does kind of suck. That is what's.
Which is why I like.
That's the new reality. Yeah.
That's the reality of college football. But I do.
Yeah.
I mean, Drew's got to get some starts, and I think it just makes sense that. I mean, maybe, senior day, you let Cliff come out and
start.
No, he already had a senior day. He had a senior day. He decided to come back. Never mind. I take that back.
He's had like 2 senior days. I
don't know. I just think it's got at some point you just got to pass the torch, and I
could see him going with Sean for the next 2 games. Bar that we win on Saturday, and then going in the Ohio State game. Keep Sean in.
We are debating this, and I'm pretty sure they already announced Sean starting.
He is.
No, yeah, they are. He is. But I'm just saying. I'm hoping that they make the change after Ohio State if we just get clapped, and then just going into the next 4 games or so, just start Drew. I mean, there's no better time to do that because, I mean, realistically, we're hoping for a New Year's Six bowl, and then just looking forward to next year.
I would like a New York.
They announced he's starting, but like Franklin's gonna say that no matter what.
Yeah.
His little son, his best friend, Sean Clifford.
At what point, when we're down 17-7 at the half and haven't moved the ball?
I don't know that he puts him in. I still don't know that he puts him in though, which scares me.
If we're down 17-7 at half against Minnesota at home during the whiteout, what was that tweet you sent us?
Oh yeah, get out your phones.
Oh, yeah. Let me find it.
Mini Nation, it's time.
It's Penn State trailed 17-7 at halftime with 72 yards of total offense as Sean Clifford winces in pain running into the locker room at half. Dean DeVore sounding like he's having an orgasm. Penn State fans, please get out your cell phones. Shout out Kevin Horn, PSG. That's so funny.
Oh, it's gonna happen,
So,
and I'm gonna cry tears.
so what's the game plan for like what this? Let's get a little more into the actual game here. What's our game plan? What are we gonna do to go there and attempt to dominate this Minnesota team? I mean, it's white out. There are so many recruits. Like you gotta put on a show.
I mean, Minnesota, if we want to get into them, they were destroying teams.
Bad teams. Very bad teams.
They crushed Michigan State. I believe they were ranked. Michigan State stinks.
They were
so then they lost.
I think they were like 11th at the time, but then they lost 3 straight.
Yeah. Michigan State's really bad. They dropped 2 straight to Purdue, and they lost to Illinois last week. Illinois is a good football team, though.
Those are not
Illinois,
bad football teams, though.
Illinois good. Purdue's good.
Illinois' defense is pretty for real.
Yeah. I'm glad they're not on our schedule this year, to be honest.
I know. We would have a tough time.
Oh, we would have lost. We wouldn't.
Especially playing in Champaign. There's no way we go into
No
Champaign.
way.
So when Minnesota lost to Illinois last week, Mo Ibrahim had 15 carries for 127 yards and a touchdown with a long of 44. That was his longest rush. Tanner Morgan before getting hurt, went 4 for 12, 21 yards and a pick.
Oh.
And then the Greek kid, the backup, went 2 for 6 for 17 yards and 2 picks. So not much quarterback production from the Golden Gophers. The whole offense is Mo Ibrahim. That's what it is.
And Williamsport grad, Trey Potts. Shout out the guy.
Yeah, Trey Potts does get a lot of carries. He didn't have any carries last week, though. That's weird.
I think he got hurt.
Oh.
Played against him in high school. Not me specifically, but.
No, yeah, Mo, you were the starting quarterback in high school.
I actually was, yeah.
Yeah, in Illinois, I think his name is, it's Chase Brown. Yeah, Chase Brown, the running back, ran the ball 41 times against them.
Oh, my gosh.
So I think he ran the ball 41 times for 180 yards. And then Tommy DeVito, 25 for 32 for 252 and a tud. We should have a similar attack, I think.
I think it's got to be a K-Tron game. I really do. I mean, I want Singleton to get right, but he's looked off, man.
I think they like K-Tron more, honestly.
I think I also do. I mean, Nick just tries to get the edge every time. And granted, they did run plays that tried to get him the edge every time, and it just didn't work. But, like, that's his MO. He's going to the edge every time. He's not a chip and pop 5 or 6 yards every time like K-Tron is.
I also just kind of hate how we use them. It's like, okay, Nick, this is your drive. Okay, K-Tron, this is your drive.
Mix them in.
Because we're in that hurry up. Yeah. Like, why can't we be subbing? And it's like, you know what? We give, like, 1st and 10. Like, we give Nick a carry, try to get him outside. Like, he might only get 2 yards. You come back in, you go, K-Tron up the middle. He can get you 4. And then you're sitting in a 3rd and 3. Maybe you keep K-Tron in. Or you keep, I mean, they're both pretty good in pass pro. So, like, you can run play action with them and be, like,
not
feel
worried
good about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Singleton did get absolutely murdered in pass pro against Michigan, like, late in the 4th quarter when Drew was in.
I mean, they're both freshmen. It's going to happen. Like, you can't expect it to be a perfect snap, perfect rep every single time. But, I feel comfortable with both of them being in there on any type of play that's being called.
Why did we put that Singleton wheel route on tape against Michigan when the game was over? That was an awesome play.
Dumb.
That was an awesome play, but why did we put it on tape, dude? Why is that on tape?
Let's pull it out now. We're down 24. Let's pull it out.
Oh my God.
Great time to pull it out.
Why is that play on tape? We hadn't run that all year. That's awesome. I loved it, but now it's on fucking now every team knows.
They're totally going to run it this week, and it's going to get immediately shut down.
Shut down fast.
But I guess we got to run the ball. We definitely, we know, well, especially with Sean Clifford as our quarterback, we know we need to have an established run game.
I don't. This has been again, like I think I said this. I'm pretty sure I said this earlier. This is just the thing with Penn State offenses. They constantly will be like, "Oh, we haven't gotten a big run, and we've run the ball 10 times this game. Let's abandon it. Let's just keep throwing the ball.
Keep going. Like,
Don't stop running the ball." Oh man. So like,
it's very
I
frustrating.
think that if we're able to establish the run, I like. So last week again, we said don't let Corum beat us. We can't let Ibrahim beat us. He's gonna get a ton of yards on a ton of carries, like, which is fine. Just don't let. I don't even know if Morgan's playing. I think he's concussed.
They said he's doing well, but it doesn't sound like he's gonna play.
What's this Greek kid play? Athen Kaliakmanes?
He was a
That's the
4-star.
most Greek name I've ever heard in my life.
Athen Kaliak. He'll probably throw for like 350 yards against us for no reason. No, I'm
Probably.
kidding. Our secondary.
What? I'm looking up Minnesota's defense. Like, what? How are they?
Not
Not-
good.
They're not.
They're not bad, but against like they
They're not in the
played.
top 50 against the. Oh, actually, they're 20th in the country against the rush.
Well, you have to get rid of their wins against Colorado, Western Illinois, and whoever they beat.
Oh my God, are we seriously not even in the top 50 anymore?
Probably
after
not.
Last week we got torched.
We are.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, we're seriously not in the top 50 against the rush.
Right, so let's go. I want to see. So
I
Illinois
actually-
ran for 220 yards.
We
I don't think
actually,
Purdue's gonna have a run game though.
you know what I will say? The offense, we were actually pretty good on third down against, like, better than usual. We were pretty good on third down against.
Yeah, they had a lot of third and not longs, but third and 8s, third and 7s.
Yeah.
We actually converted on more third downs than we typically do. So another thing that I
First half they were playing really good red zone defense. Granted, they let them get down in the red zone 4 times.
the only reason we have good red zone defense there is because the field shrunk and our linebackers can't take fucking 4 steps back.
That's fair.
Like, I don't even read into that.
I think JJ screwed up on the 1 3rd and goal down there. He was throwing a little screen pass to.
Well, if he could actually throw a football.
Yeah, if he made that
touchdown.
throw, that would have been a touchdown. Yeah.
All right, so when Minnesota lost to Purdue, Ibrahim didn't play, and they threw the ball with more. That was a terrible game. I bet on Purdue in that game because I think that's what Minnesota was number 21. But Tanner Morgan threw the ball 18 yards for 18 yards, 18 times, 18 completions, 257 yards, and 3 picks. The guy loves throwing picks. But then again, if it's Athen Kaliakamis, who knows?
Well, he threw
I don't
2
think-
last week too, so maybe he does as well.
I mean, also that kid's gonna shit.
He's gonna
his
shit
pants.
his pants.
And
Yeah,
a
he's
white
gonna-
out, come
He's gonna shit his pants. There's no way that he.
I mean, they're gonna hand the football off 40+ times.
Yeah, Ibrahim's
long
gonna
as-
have.
Is the crowd
and then-
like? How into it is the crowd gonna be? Like, I'm gonna be there, but like, am I gonna? I guess I'll get a couple beers in me and I'll be excited.
They'll
but
be into it. I think.
Well,
the
everyone,
whiteout
it's
will
all,
bring it out
people are always
more.
into it
Yeah,
because even
and everybody knows that we
like-
have to win this game. Like, we just have to.
that's so stupid that Fox made Ohio State Big Noon because it's like no one cares. It's Minnesota. Like that's a good point. Like I'm sure, obviously, everyone will be into it. People will be tanked, but it's Minnesota. Who cares?
yeah, it's fucking Minnesota.
So this.
Well, it'll be nice to win a whiteout.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Well,
that
actually, we
need a
won.
whiteout
We
win.
won. We won our whiteout last year against Auburn,
Yeah, we did.
and
win
then
that.
actually
Well,
we've won our last 2 whiteouts because there was no whiteout because
Yeah.
of COVID year,
Michigan and Auburn.
and we stomped Michigan. Didn't stomp Auburn, but
That was a good game. So let's get into predictions. Mo, if you want to kick us off.
predictions. The line's 4.5. Well, actually, no, it came down to 4. The line fucking terrifies me. The fact
Oh, I
that
hate it. I hate it so
we're a
much.
4-point favorite in the whiteout against Minnesota. I mean, like I said earlier about slaying some of the demons of this program, bad off a loss, bad off a bye, bad in top 10 matchups. I said you can't slay them all. A couple of them have slayed us. So I think this program is going to take a step in the right direction this week. We're going to cover that 4.5. I don't even know what the score is. I don't care what the score is. We're covering. We're going to win off a loss. I need to tell myself this. I don't know how confident I am, but that's what needs to happen. So it's manifest destiny at this point.
I love it. I love it. I was going to go the same thing. I was just going to say we need to say everything else but a loss here because we need to get it out into the universe that we're going to win. So I'm going to go with a score. I'm going to be optimistic here. I think we come out. I think we punch them in the mouth. I think we win 31-17. That's my score.
Ooh, I like it.
Yep. We're bouncing back this week, baby.
31-17 with like a late fourth quarter touchdown to really pull away.
Yep. We'll go up 24-17, and then we'll have like a bust away from Nick just in the fourth, like a long 60-yarder just to really punch it out.
So, I mean, I'm convinced that whenever we do this, we're never, ever going to pick them to lose. Actually, no, I was saying we're pick them to lose. There's no way they fucking win that game. But,
Might
yeah,
still
so
pick them to win.
You said 31-17. I'm going to go 28-14. Oh, we didn't shout out Barney. Shout out Barney and more. You're a stud.
Yes.
Yeah,
our boy. Please come on the pod.
Actually, I'll give a score 21-10. I think it's going to be ugly, but I think it's going to be ugly. But I think the defense is going to play with a chip on their shoulder. Sean's going to be hurt. The offense is going to be ugly, but opportunistic. And
all right, I want to do a second prediction. Do we see Drew Allard in this football game?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to go no.
I'm going to go yes.
I wish. Hopefully, like in the first quarter,
I'm going to say yes.
The entire game.
If we see Drew, that means we're fucking stomping him. Or Sean got hurt.
Or Sean gets hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know which I'd prefer more.
So I'm going to go 28-14, and I think Katron has 150-plus yards. That's what I'm going to go with.
I like it. That would make me very happy.
My bold prediction. So, yeah, that's
our running backs are the only people who can do it because our wide receivers are dog water.
Yeah.
Suck. We had such a nice run with those guys. We thought they were so good.
No, they're so bad. Oh, God.
Well, on that note, that's the show.
Close it out.
It was a very sad show. It was kind of like a funeral a little bit.
This was just a rant, just ranting.
Yeah, we deserved it. At 4th and 5 podcast on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. We'll have this out. It should be out Friday afternoon again. That's probably we're going to stick with Friday at noon. It's going to be our show. Yeah, that's everything. Follow us, like, subscribe, send it to people, and we're going to have our live show in Ohio State next week. So thanks for listening, and we all
go State.
Fire Franklin.